A very good morning to you. Welcome, guys. And for those of you who are comfortable putting your names in the chat roll, I know there's some of you that would prefer to stay anonymous here today, and that's absolutely fine. You can just sit back and enjoy the presentation. But for those of you who are saying good morning Jan and Noreen. Good morning, Veronica. Glad you're excited. I am too. Good morning, Susanna. And good morning, Lucy. I presume, Lucy, you're together with Gerard. So good morning to you guys. Well, we are going to be talking about this company that I am excited about called eXp Realty today. But before I begin to break down the model and explain it to you, let me tell you a little bit about myself. There are a bunch of you on this morning. I say a bunch of you. Look, it's all you've all been personally invited to be together with me today. But there are a few of you on who may have been invited by someone else. And so if you don't know me, let me just take a minute to introduce myself, and then we'll get into talking about this amazing business. Sorry about that. I need to turn my phone onto flight mode, which is what I'm going to encourage you to do too. So my name is Steve Johnstone. I am a real estate sales trainer. I'm married, 46 years old, if that's important. I got 3 kids. Francesca, who is 18, she's just finished matric. Olivia, who is 16, she's in grade 11. And Luke, who is in grade 9, he is 15. And he's just gone to boarding school for the first time, which was his decision. He wanted to go, and we left it as late as possible because I didn't want my boy to go. But anyway, he's gone and having a ball. So we live in Cape Town, and business background is that from 2003 to 2009, I built South Africa's largest independent coaching company in the real estate sector. It was called Providence Coaching Systems. Some of you may have been clients of mine back then, in fact. I worked my backside off in those days. I seemed to live in hotel rooms and hired cars, and I was constantly doing a circuit of South Africa. And I lived in kind of hotel ballrooms because I was, back in those days when you did training, man, it was all just in hotel rooms. It was all live. And I was grateful for the success that we achieved. I had a whole team of coaches that worked for me in big offices in Steenberg, lots of staff, and we coached hundreds of South Africa's top estate agents, and I trained many thousands in our seminars around the country. And, I still meet agents today who tell me that their lives changed because of the system that I taught them back in those years. And my speciality has always been lead generation, which I think is the most important thing you do in your business, specifically how to work by referral. And that is still the heart of what I now teach. But in 2009, when that whole global economic crisis hit and the real estate industry took a massive hit in South Africa, if some of you were around back then, you'll remember those times. I got an opportunity at that point to move out of the real estate industry and to take over a global campaign against corruption. It was called Unashamedly Ethical. And during my 3 years as the head of Unashamedly Ethical, I built that from the ground up. And we had an amazing experience, the team and I. It was a bit of a fairy tale experience. I traveled the world. I spoke in stadiums. I met many famous people. And that's a story for another time, but it was an amazing experience. And then when my tenure ended at the head of Unashamedly Ethical, I then went back to university. I studied a master's degree that I'd been wanting to do for quite some time. I took 4.5 years to complete that master's degree. And at the end of that, I kind of had to get back to reality, and I had to really get back into business. And so I decided to open up my real estate training company again. But this time I decided, now this plays into today's theme, that it was going to be an online business. And I have learned so much in the 5 years that I've now run StephenJohnston.com, this online learning company, that, I've been so, it's almost like I've had a new lease on life, a whole new life on learning how to build this thing. So many of those lessons I am now passing on to people who are on my Going Virtual program. So I know many of you are on that program. And I've been teaching about 800 agents how to take their businesses virtual, how to use social media and bulk email and drip campaigns and video and all that stuff. And it's been a great journey. But that now raises an important question that I want to get into for today. Sorry, guys, can you just tell me in the chat roll, can you see me and hear me correctly? I just want to make sure that everything is coming through correctly on the feed, or I get insecure that I see Naomi's got a problem with her sound, but often that's just a problem on your side, not on my side. So if you can just tell me in the chat roll if you can hear me and see me correctly, that'll kind of just satisfy me so we can continue. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Melaine. Thanks, Graham. Thanks, Veronica and Kurt Jan, etc. Okay, all good. Thank you. So let me continue. Telling you my little background there does raise an important question, because you may be sitting there wondering then, okay, we're going to be talking about a new opportunity today. I'm going to be introducing you to the eXp Realty. Why on earth, if I have a good training company, a profitable training business, which I do have, why would I be looking for other opportunities? And, because this may be your situation. You may run a profitable real estate business right now, whether you have a team of agents that works for you, or you're just an independent estate agent, or you're working for a franchise. Things may be good right now, but the question is, are they always going to be good? Because that's the position I found myself in. The simple answer to the question, why am I looking for another opportunity, is this: that while the training business is good, it's uncertain. The property market is cyclical, and our businesses do rise and fall based on the state of the economy and the state of the property market. And so while the income may be good for today, that could disappear overnight by, tomorrow with another economic downturn. And maybe it is that you do relate to that your real estate career is a bit of a hamster wheel. Because that's kind of how I feel about the training business. It's just a bit of a hamster wheel. It's a great hamster wheel. It's shiny. It's great. It's, it's profitable and all that. But it can just, boom, stop at any moment and send my little hamster face to knock my two front teeth out at the front of the hamster wheel at any moment. If you keep doing what you're doing as an estate agent, if you are in the same position that you're in today, just working, doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years' time? That is a very important question. And if you were to compare that with where you would like to be in 5 years' time, can you honestly say that the vehicle that you're in right now is taking you towards the kind of freedom, the kind of wealth, the kind of security that you do desire? And the answer to that in my life was no. If you want to retire, let's say in 5 years' time you'd like to retire, or you'd just like to have the freedom to be able to do what you want to do with your time, you will need, this is what a financial planner will tell you, you're going to need about 30 million Rand invested, and you're going to need no debt. So 30 million Rand invested. Because if you can earn, let's say, 10 or 12% on your investment, you're going to want to keep 5 or 6% in there to keep up with inflation so your capital doesn't get eroded. And then you'll be able to draw out about $1 million or $1.5 million per year. So, and that'll be for the rest of your life, to live off $1.5 million a year. Now, how are you doing on your current hamster wheel to have 30 million Rand invested in 5 years' time, debt-free? Well, I'm going to show you a different way today to build up that kind of passive income over the next few years. And the beauty of it is that you don't really have to do anything different from what you are doing now. Okay, you will still be working as an estate agent. And that is the power of this company, eXp, and the model that they have is that they enable you to work with a global company, with a wonderful brand, with incredible technology, an awesome platform. But at the same time as you're working as an agent, you can be building up a shareholding in the company and a passive income. It is an incredibly exciting opportunity from that perspective. So there I was on my hamster wheel a year ago when I got a phone call from a gentleman in Canada who wanted me to have a look at this company, eXp Realty. And he said, yeah, this company is going to be launching later in the year. Now, I had never heard of eXp at the time. As it turns out, as I now know, they are a US-based real estate company. They are about 11 years old. But a year ago, when I was contacted, I'd never heard of them. And I got to admit, I do get approached a little bit by people who want me to promote their stuff in the real estate industry. And, you know, normally I don't get involved with that sort of thing. I just sort of politely decline all of those requests. But in this case, something I heard about this business intrigued me, especially the technology that they own and how they run their business using this technology. I saw this as a complete market disruptor. And then when I learned about the growth that this company has experienced, particularly in the last 6 or 7 years, it suddenly got my attention. The technology this company owns makes them incredibly profitable, and the model that they work with, and that enables them to compensate their agents completely differently, and that is what accounts for their growth. So in the last sort of 6 or 7 years, they have gone from about 500 agents to the latest count being about 42,000 agents, and whereas 6 or 7 years ago, they were just based in America. Today, they have opened in, I think it's 12 new countries. In the last 2 months, they've opened 8 international countries alone, and I will show you what those countries are a little bit later, because it opens an opportunity for you as well. They have smashed every record that has been set by their predecessors, Remax originally, and then Keller Williams, that became this global phenomenon. eXp have come on the scene and they've completely smashed all of those records. They are the fastest growing real estate company in history. And as I say, they've got about 42,000 agents now. And within the last couple of months, they are now open in South Africa. So I think huge opportunity with this company. Their technology and their model are completely changing the paradigm of how real estate companies work. But it's not only that. I have, in the last few months that I've now been involved, I've got to meet a lot of the leadership of the business. And while, of course, in a company that's got like 600 full-time employees and 42,000 agents, I don't know everyone, and there are going to be people that you don't get on with. But the people that I am directly involved with, who are supporting me in building this business, and the support that we are getting in eXp South Africa from the corporate structure here, I am delighted to be in business with the people that I'm in business with. And I've always said that, it's better to be in even a bad business with good people. It's better that than being in a good business with bad people. I'm very, very selective about who I get in business with. And the team that I'm working with, who I will introduce you to if you join me on this journey, I am delighted to be able to be in business with them. So it's an amazing business. I want to tell you a little bit about the company so that we can start our discussions. And then I'm going to show you a video by a guy called Brent Gove, who's going to break down the model for us. And I'll tell you who Brent is later. He's a great guy, and he's probably the best to tell us how the company works. I'll introduce you to him just now. But eXp was founded in 2009 by a tech genius named Glenn Sanford. Now, Glenn at the time was one of the kind of executives at Keller Williams. He had built up a $60 million real estate business himself at Keller Williams, but he worked his business completely differently. He was a techie kind of guy, and so he dealt with all of his clients. He did all his presentations and everything online. Now, remember, this is 2009, 1 year after the first iPhone launched. So that'll give you like a perspective on in tech kind of timeline. This is an age ago. There was no such thing as Zoom, no such thing as webinars or Google Meet or anything like that. But Glenn Sanford believed that the traditional brick and mortar model of real estate, where everyone's got an office on a street corner somewhere, he believed that was completely unnecessary. He believed, quite ahead of his time actually, that a multi-office, even national, and as it turns out, international real estate company could have all of its offices and all of its administrative staff in the cloud. And he believed that the massive cost saving that would represent to the company should be passed back to the agents themselves. So he believed that a real estate company should be owned by the agents, and it should compensate the agents with all of its profits. The agents should be the shareholders in the company, and they should be compensated not just for the transactions that they do as estate agents, but they should also be compensated for building the company based on their level of contribution. So, most of us are only now getting to kind of notice this massive shift towards online. If you think of a company like Amazon and what's happened to them over the last 10 years, Amazon started selling books online. But now you can order absolutely anything under the sun and it'll be delivered to your door. I ordered something off Amazon that isn't sold locally the other day, quite a big thing. And I ordered it off Amazon. When it arrived, it took about a week or so to arrive here. It had been sourced from Lithuania. So the company that manufactures in Lithuania, they sell off Amazon. I order it. Within a week, it gets delivered to my door. I don't even leave my house. I mean, it's phenomenal the way they have changed retail. The same thing has happened in South Africa. Companies like Takealot have grown 100% in the last year. I mean, that is dramatic growth for a company. And every industry has seen the kind of disruptive change that the cloud has brought to it. Just think of your local video store. If you're anything like me, we used to bundle the kids into the car, and we used to drive down to Blockbusters in Plumstead, and it was a bit stressful because you got to get your kids out of the car, and then you get them into Blockbusters. There's people everywhere. And you got this kid wandering off that way, this kid wandering out the door. It was really stressful. You got hold all their hands and you wandering out to see what's appropriate and then what's available. They're in the little slot under the DVD picture, and then you grab the one and you're fighting with another person. It was quite a stressful experience going to the video store. And today, I would defy you to find a video store. The advent of online streaming, particularly Netflix, has literally collapsed the DVD industry. Now, what I want you to think about is this. Because this is the point I'm trying to make to you. It's not that a company came on the scene and they used the internet to sell DVDs or to rent out physical DVDs. That you're getting the same product, you're just getting it off a website. That's not the point. The point is that they have completely redefined. It's a paradigm shift. Netflix are the largest online, they're the largest movie distributor in the world, and they don't own one DVD. That's the point. It's a paradigm shift. Another way of illustrating that is the taxi industry. Uber and Lyft in America, Lyft, they have completely redefined how the taxi hailing transport industry works. They're the largest taxi business in the world, but listen to this, they don't own one vehicle. Airbnb have completely smashed the international hotel industry. They are now worth double what Hilton Hotels is worth. Hilton Hotels is 100 years old. Airbnb is about 10 years old. Airbnb are worth twice what Hilton Hotels are worth. And listen to this, they don't own one property. It's just a complete paradigm shift. So these are all cloud-based businesses that are redefining how an industry works. Now, that is what eXp Realty are doing in real estate. It is a paradigm shift. So Glenn Sanford, he creates this first. He creates the first. Sorry, I'm seeing in the chat roll. I don't get to look at the chat roll all the time because I'm obviously focusing on other things. I see Lucy and Terence have both said that there's a bad connection. Can the rest of you still see me? How's the connection? Are we doing okay? I want to see that in the chat roll, because if there's a very bad connection, what I can do is I can reconnect on my side. I can boot you all out of the webinar and then log you all back in. I've got like a panic button that I can push here. But if everybody else is fine, then it must be just an issue on their side. Okay, great. Everyone else is saying it's perfect. Okay, great, guys. So back to Glenn Sanford. He creates this cloud-based business, and it's in a cloud-based world called eXp World, and now they employ over 600 employees. So they have 600 employees. But listen to this: they all work in an avatar world with offices and training facilities and auditoriums and boardrooms and informal meeting areas and coffee areas. You can even go to the beach in this little avatar world. You can go and play a game of soccer with other eXp agents in the avatar world. It is incredible. Now, I know it sounds a bit like a video game, and it's not wrong for real estate to be fun. But what this technology has done, when you join eXp, you create your little avatar, and then you walk through this avatar world, and you go to meetings there, and you can go to training there, and you can get technical support there. And I'll actually show you a little video later today when I went into the tech department in the avatar world to get help that I needed with something. What it's done is it has created a real estate company that has no physical offices. Now, you just think about that. They've got 42,000 agents. They don't own one office. And everything happens in this avatar world. Do you know how profitable that makes them compared to a Remax or a Keller Williams or a Pam Golding or a whatever that own all this office space, head offices, and then all their regional offices and franchises? And do you know how much money is spent on brick and mortar in real estate? And Glenn Sanford said, it's unnecessary. And you know what? He's right. And then what they do with the massive profitability that gives them as a business is they pass it back to the agents. So this is completely changing the paradigm of how real estate is working internationally. Today, they are listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So they listed a few years ago. If you had been a member of eXp when they listed and you were doing transactions, you get stock options. Or you get stock awards when you do certain things as an estate agent. You would have got stock awards at, let's say, $2 when they first listed on the NASDAQ. About 6 months ago, that had gone up to $7. About 8 months ago, I think it was about $7. So you would have more than tripled your money. And you would have just been given those shares. $7. Now, listen, today, the stock price is $106. It's gone from $7 to $106 in 8 months. So it's one of the fastest growing shares on the NASDAQ stock exchange. They are valued now it's over $7 billion is their market cap now. So this is a Cinderella story. They are a global superpower in the real estate industry, and they are taking over the world. Quite frankly, guys, I don't think the traditional real estate model can compete with these guys. And as you're going to see, as I explain the model to you today, and as I show you the video about Brent Gove, you are going to begin to see why this is such a compelling business. And I know that many of you who are on the webinar today will actually decide to join us and come on this journey with us. And it is still a ground floor opportunity for South Africans because they've only just launched here. So it's very exciting. Okay, 3 points, and then I'm going to show you the Brent Gove video. Number one, please be kind to yourself for the next 60 minutes. It'll be a little bit less than that, but let's just say the next 60 minutes. Just put your phone on airplane mode. Don't check Facebook. Don't check WhatsApps. Don't get into conversations with the people around you. You know, every now and again, you get an opportunity to focus on you, to do something for yourself. This may very well change the future of your life. Please just give it your attention. Okay, that's just an encouragement to you. Secondly, do some research afterwards. What will happen is I have programmed this system to trigger an email that will go to you, whatever email address you entered when you logged into the webinar at 10 o'clock this morning. You're going to get an email at about 11:30 that has, I think, 5 follow-up kind of research resources for you. there's a slide presentation. It's the official slide deck from eXp South Africa that you can look through. It's got lots of information in there. There's a video by a guy called Gene Frederick. Now, that's the point that I made on the slide there. Gene Frederick is one of the global leaders within eXp. His background is he was the financial director of a huge American corporation called Texas Instruments. So he's a chartered accountant. He's a very level-headed guy. He then got into real estate. He was with Keller Williams, and in fact, between him and a guy called Rob Flick, they built Keller Williams in the western half of the United States. And he had 5 of the biggest Keller Williams franchises in America. He owned Keller Williams Hawaii. He owned Keller Williams Cupertino, which is where Apple's head offices are, and 3 others. And then he owned the Keller Williams region for Northern California, which is virtually the size of the Western Cape. In fact, I think it might even be bigger than that. So he had 6,000 agents in his offices. So this is a guy who knows real estate well. And he was very well known in the real estate industry in America. And when he so what happened was actually quite a funny story. Gene Frederick, this techie guy, he knows Glenn Sanford, the guy who started eXp. He knows Gene Frederick's like a superpower in real estate in America. So he goes and shows Gene Frederick his idea when he has this idea and he's got this technology. And Gene Frederick said, it always makes me laugh. He said 2 things to Glenn Sanford after the sort of presentation. He said to him, Glenn, firstly, you need to find someone else to present this. That's awesome. That's always tickled me. Because he just said, Glenn, you're a techie guy. You can't present this thing. And then the second thing he said to him is, you've just shown me the Netflix of real estate. He went home, he spoke to his wife. They sold all 5 Keller Williams franchises. They moved across to eXp. And, I mean, the rest is history. Gene has now got one of the biggest eXp businesses in the world. He's got over 10,000 agents in his business. And so what this little presentation, there's a video in the email I'm going to send you. There's a link to a video that is a presentation he gave in a hotel ballroom somewhere explaining why he thinks and why he thought at the time eXp is such a phenomenal business. And it's really eye-opening to have someone like him from a very level-headed perspective explain it. So I would encourage you, go watch that. I found that quite helpful when I was doing my research. And then thirdly, base your decision on the first 3 pillars. As you're going to see in the explanation that we give you now, there are 4 pillars of benefit to eXp's model. I'm going to encourage you, make your decision based on the first 3. If you think that the first 3 pillars of benefit offer a compelling, exciting deal for you as an estate agent to join and work as an estate agent, then the 4th pillar, then it makes complete sense. Because as you're going to see, the 4th pillar is how to get compensated by introducing the opportunity to other agents. But you don't want to do that, obviously, unless you are convinced that this is an amazing company to work for as an agent. So, base it on the first 3 pillars. Right, about Brent Gove. So I'm going to play you, I think it's a 24-minute presentation by Brent, where he's now going to explain the model to you. He'll explain the 4 pillars of benefit, and then after Brent's presentation, I will get back up and I will just correct some of the numbers, because some of the numbers have changed, the revenue share numbers, since Brent shot this video for us. And then I'll just recap a couple of things, and then we'll be done for the day. So who's Brent Gove? Brent is, he won't tell you this, but I know this because I've got to know him a little bit personally. He was the top-selling RE/MAX agent in America. Now, that's impressive. You don't become the top-selling RE/MAX agent in America by being an idiot. He had a $100 million real estate team and incredibly well-respected, one of the sort of golden boys of RE/MAX. In 2008, when the economic crisis hit America, he took that opportunity when there was complete turmoil in the industry to join Keller Williams, because he thought, hey, this is a brand new model in real estate. They're doing things differently. Let's go check them out. So he was with RE/MAX for 12 years. This is not a guy who bounced around. He joined Keller Williams in 2008, and he was with them for 8 years. He loved his time at Keller Williams. He said he thought he would never leave Keller Williams. Fantastic company. But he got a phone call from a lady called Sheila Fejeran, who is a friend of mine. And Sheila said to him, Brent, I want you to look at a company called eXp and what they're doing because it's phenomenal. Brent said, okay, I'll humor you. I'll have a look. He said within 20 minutes of what Sheila showed him, he knew he had to move. Now, what Brent is going to do in this presentation, in the interim, Brent joined in 2016, and he has now built a massive, he's also got over 10,000 agents in his eXp group, and he still runs a $100 million real estate team. So he's still a practicing estate agent with a bunch of agents that work for him, buyers agents and listing specialists, etc. So he's a good guy. He knows your world, but he can also explain to us the benefits of eXp from an agent's perspective. So he agreed to put together this little video for our team in South Africa, and I'm grateful to him for doing it. Let's watch the video together now, about 25 minutes, and then I'll jump back up when Brent is finished. So here we go, Brent Gove, the eXp model explained.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brent Gove, and of course, I'm here to talk to you about eXp South Africa. Everyone's so excited, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Now, before I get going on the model on eXp and what's happening with the fastest growing real estate model the world has ever seen, I want to talk to you a little bit about my background. I promise to be super fast. I've been in real estate for 24 years. My first 12 years were at RE/MAX. Then I spent 8 years at Keller Williams. And honestly, I loved both companies, had a very positive experience. And then 4 years ago, got a friend of mine who asked me to take a look at this new model for real estate, eXp Realty. Back then, it was a small company with 1,200 agents. Today, we're a $4 billion company, shattering all the records of our predecessors, RE/MAX and Keller Williams, cutting their growth rates in half. So what is it everyone's so excited about? Well, let's get started. Welcome to eXp South Africa. Now, eXp was founded by a Canadian, Glenn Sanford. Everyone loves Canadians, and Glenn is one of those special people. He created a company that nobody else created. He was like an Elon Musk, a Richard Branson, a Steve Jobs. Every once in a while, that kind of a special human being comes along and could just not only conceptualize an idea, but execute on that idea. And of course, Glenn did, and enter eXp. Now, what he did is he came up with a cloud-based brokerage, and we're launching it here in South Africa after great success in many other markets worldwide. Today, of course, we're a $4 billion company. So what is eXp all about? Well, of course, we're about selling real estate. And we have our main broker for the country of South Africa, Mr. Andrew Thompson. Amazing. Our regional finance manager, Mark Luker, he's an amazing guy as well, and a bunch of wonderful support folks helping you launch here in South Africa. Now, I won't kid you, we're pioneering at this time. You're part of the beginning, but there are great rewards for people who are first to market. In fact, let's talk about that. Netflix was first to market, and they dislodged a $5 billion, 800-pound gorilla called Blockbuster. We all went to Blockbuster. I'm sure you did too. And now we just point and click, get what we want through Netflix. Look at Amazon. There was a period where it's like, oh, they'll never make it. They're not sustainable. Now they're the largest employer in the world, the most successful company the world has ever seen. Even Tony, and this is what eXp is in this cloud-based space. And then we got eXp going up against traditional brokerages. But even Tony Robbins noticed, and there's Tony right there, that the Hilton Corporation, having been around for over 100 years and creating an $18 billion valuation, here comes Airbnb. In fact, I love the name Airbnb. It's been around for only 10 years, valued at $31 billion. and they don't even own a building. It's incredible. And so what is eXp? What is this cloud campus environment? It's like any university. It's like any college campus. It's a place that houses hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eXp staff, technology departments, accounting, brokerage operations, marketing, everything you need for a real estate company, but it's in the cloud. And the agents don't have to pay desk fees. You can work from anywhere. And we choose to work with Regus. The whole office hub, open space, being collaborative is the rage worldwide. Now next, what eXp is doing is we're a tech company. We're bringing tech tools that are amazing, cutting edge. One of our tech tools, a CRM, a cutting edge contact relationship manager, a retention tool to help you keep track of your clients, to do prospecting and lead tracking and template brochures and emails and calendars and tasks, and it's state of the art. You're going to love it. Can't wait to show that more to you. It's one of the things we bring. Now, the other thing eXp is huge on is learning. We are a learning-based company. We believe in being a student of life. You want to make it big in real estate? One of the reasons I became very successful, one of the top agents at RE/MAX and Keller Williams, because I'm learning-based. I'm a student. I'm always asking questions. And we believe so strongly that we created eXp University. And in the university, we have cloud classes. We have anywhere from at least 20 live hours a week, sometimes 30, 40 live hours a week of content. You literally can raise your hand, interrupt the instructor and say, hey, I have a question. Now he or she may say, hey, we're going to hold all questions to the end of class today, but it is truly a university with over 20 live, not recorded, the live hours. You can stick around after class, ask the questions to the instructor about how do I get more listings? How do I get more buyers? How do I get more buyers into contract? How do I do social media marketing? How do I do contracts? I have questions about disclosure. Whatever it is, we have it all there in the cloud. It's in the cloud and it's live in person. Here's an example of one we recently did. We had about 500 people in the room. This particular event, it was all about lead generation and using technology to capture buyer and seller leads. Here's another one we did. If you look to the left, there's a panel up there of top superstars from RE/MAX and Keller Williams and Coldwell Banker and Independence. All those people sell hundreds of homes a year each. They all just joined eXp Realty. So we put them up on a panel and said, why? And what do you see the value is in this company? Now, a little bit about eXp World Holdings. Essentially, our eXp World Holdings owns mortgage companies, title companies, real estate companies, home warranty companies, on all the ancillary services. So that they give out what we call equity opportunities. In other words, you get to own a piece of the company you work at. You got to understand that's a big deal. I worked at RE/MAX for 12 years and had nothing to show for it. Most of the agents walk out there with no equity. It's like a buyer. We say, please buy a home. Get some equity for yourself, some self-respect. And then the people who rent a home for 20 years were like, shake our heads. Yet I did that. I spent 20 years 12 years at RE/MAX, 8 years at Keller Williams, and I had no equity. So at eXp, we're going to give you what we call equity awards. When you close your first home and it records, you're going to get an equity award, stock award. When you cap at eXp, and we'll go over the cap a little bit, you're going to get more stock in our company. When you refer an agent to eXp, you enroll an agent, you tell them how much you like it, and they join, you get more stock. In fact, the more people you tell about eXp, the more stock and equity you get. I spent 20 years at RE/MAX and Keller Williams, referred hundreds of people to both companies, and didn't have a whole lot to show for it. So eXp, they monetize that. They think that's valuable. Finally, you have an agent equity program where you could take 5% of your commission. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do it. But 5% of your commission, and you could purchase our stock at a 10% discount. Now, I started doing this 4 years ago, and the stock was $2.90 a share. Today, it was trading at $58 a share. Back then, the company wasn't even worth $100 million. Today, it's worth over $4 billion market cap. They called me crazy. Now they call me for advice. And so I tell you what, it's scary when you do something new and this and that, but let me tell you what, eXp makes sense by the numbers. So let's get into some more numbers. We have what we call an icon award. And this is where our cap at eXp is 150,000 Rand. And so once you pay in 150,000 Rand to eXp, you go to a 100% split. The split is 75-25, just like everybody else. But once you pay in 150,000 Rand, we move you to a 100% split. Pretty cool. And check this out. When you cap and you earn 5 million Rand, which in a lot of areas means you're selling approximately 33 homes a year if you do the math. Now, if you're in an outlying area where home prices are low, you'll have to sell more. If you're in a very high-end area, it may be less. But if you have an annual gross commission income of 5 million Rand and you cap it, of course you're going to cap, you're going to actually earn your cap back in the form of stock. We give you 150,000 Rand worth of stock. Pretty cool. So what did it really cost you to be eXp? Not much. It's pretty cool. Now, the next thing is we do revenue sharing. And this is what sets our company apart. Now, for years, I had friends working at Century 21, other friends working at Better Homes, Sotheby's, Christie's, Coldwell Banker, Remax, and people would refer people and they wouldn't earn anything. And all the revenue would go to those international multi-billion-dollar real estate corporations and they would keep all the money. Well, at eXp South Africa, if you look at the scale here, tier 1 at the top, if you refer one person, the dollar amounts in the middle there, that middle dollar amounts, if you add up those amounts, they add up to 150,000 Rand. So what our founder did, Glenn Sanford, is he broke them up into bite-sized rewards. You refer one person, you get 26,250 Rand. It's pretty cool. And someone asked me, or am I limited to that? I go, no, you can refer 10. And if that person was a capping agent and they paid in 150,000 Rand to the company, that's why it says up to, then you will receive 26,250. What happens if they only do half a cap, like 75,000 Rand? Then you get half of 26,250. What if they do a quarter cap, like a quarter of 150,000 Rand? Then you get a quarter of the reward, 26,250. The way it works is every month there's a closing. On the following month, the 22nd, eXp pays out what we call revenue share. eXp South Africa. It's very exciting. So now everyone they tell, that's what's called tier 2. And anyone they tell, you get 30,000 Rand. Now, the way you qualify is in the right-hand column. You must refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months in South Africa, 5 agents who sell 2 homes a year, 1 home every 6 months. Kind of a low standard, but it's a standard. So if you refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months, then it'll unlock tier 2. If you refer 10 people to eXp South Africa, it'll unlock tier 3, 15, 20, 25. It grows in increments of 5 until you get to tier 6. That unlocks tier after tier after tier. Then there's a jump of 15 to 40 to unlock tier 7. But tier 7 pays 37,500 Rand per agent on that tier, unlimited as it is on every tier. Pretty awesome. So let me kind of show you how this works. Here we go. Let me give you a 5-year example or a 5-year possibility. By the way, I did what you're going to see in 6 months. Doesn't have to take 5 years, but I'm going to be conservative. It says it takes you 5 years. So if you look at the example here, let's say that you tell 10 agents this year. And remember, you're getting 26,200. Look at the top of the scale there. Tier 1 at the top, 26,250 Rand. So if you tell 10 people, and you multiply that times 26,250 Rand, you get 262,500 in Rand every year. And if those 10 people stay with eXp South Africa next year, you get it again. And if they stay a third and a fourth and a fifth year, you get it a third and a fourth and a fifth year. This is like you selling homes 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago and you're still getting paid today. Now, we all know that's not going to work. You're paid to produce escrows. You put buyers in escrow. You put sellers in escrow. You get paid. It's over. You have to continue to rinse, wash, and repeat. You have to continue the process. Not here, because you now own a company with eXp, South Africa. So if you tell 10, you're getting 26,250 Rand per person a year if they're a capping agent. So make sure that they're an agent who sells real estate. Obviously, if you started a company and you tell 10 people who don't sell it all, you would get nothing, and you'll also get nothing in eXp. You need agents who sell real estate. Again, capping agents are ideal, but it can be less. Now, let's say you help those 10 agents tell 10, and in the next 5 years. So you tell 10 this year, then they each tell 2 people a year for 5 years. 2 times 5 is 10. So if they all did that, you'd have 10 agents who told 10. That would be 100 agents on tier 2. Now, again, I told 10 in the first 2 weeks, and they all told 10 within 6 months. So I did this 5-year example in 6 months. It does not have to take 5 years. But what's wrong if it took 5 years? Because look at this. If you have 100 people on tier 2 who are cappers, how much do you get per person? 30,000 Rand a year per person. So when you multiply that times 100, that's 3 million Rand a year, plus your 262,500 Rand for the people you personally told. That's a total of 3,262,500 a year, and you get it each year as long as those people stay with the company. Well, guess what? The next year, mine quadrupled, almost grew 5 times. So that number grew accordingly. Now, this is just with you telling 10 agents. What if you told 20? What if you told 30? What if you told 40? What if you told 80? If you and I were to start a real estate company together, the first thing we would do is recruit agents. And if we had 4 or 5 agents, we'd be a little boutique company. And then 2 years later, we have 40 or 50 agents, we're a bigger boutique company. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years after that, we have 3, 4, 500 agents. We're no longer a boutique company. We're a company to be dealt with in, say, Johannesburg. You got 500 agents, you've kind of arrived. This is all that is. We're attracting agents to our company that are learning-based, want to give back, and I'll talk about that, want to have a seat at the table of ownership. This is an agent-owned company, so to speak, through the stock. The more you sell, the more agents you refer, the more sales metrics you hit, the more stock you are constantly awarded to our company. If that sort of thing appeals to you, owning a piece of the company you work at, then welcome to eXp. Now, what I want to show you is our expansion. We're already in the United States, we're in Canada, we're in Australia and the UK. This year, like today as I'm making this, we are opening South Africa, like today, pretty exciting. And then we're also opening France and India, and we're opening Mexico and Portugal. Pretty exciting stuff. And you're just right there wherever you are in South Africa. But as you tell people in other parts of South Africa, they'll have friends in Canada. They'll have friends possibly in Portugal or France or India, Australia, the UK, and your business will grow out of South Africa, and you will be paid revenue share on home sales throughout the UK. I am throughout Australia. I am throughout South Africa. You get the idea. Now, we run the whole world. It's a cloud campus through Virbela. Virbela is one of the most successful companies online. Look them up. They're a Cinderella success company. When COVID-19 hit, eXp didn't blink. Like I said, they call you crazy, and then they call you for advice. Well, we have a world that housed hundreds and hundreds of employees, and we didn't pay any commercial leases. We didn't have to heat and cool it. We didn't have to insure it. No one's going to trip. There's no trip hazard in a virtual world. We didn't have to add coffee, janitorial. We didn't have to do TIs, tenant improvements. We didn't have to buy furniture. We didn't have to sign copier leases or computer leases or phone system leases. Need I go on? Staff it with employees. This is a beautiful world, and the overhead is very low. That's why we could share revenues. Is it working? We went from 0 to a $4 billion market cap in 10 years. It's working, and you get to be a part of it. Super excited. We also have Facebook groups that called Workplace in Facebook, and you could post new listings. Buyers need a property here, there. Super collaborative. You will absolutely love it. This is proved to be a great success. And everyone's like, well, what kind of marketing does eXp have? The same kind of marketing your current company has. Beautiful brochures for your listings, wonderful business cards and digital flyers, as you could see. Just great stuff. You're going to love it. Bottom line, join the company everyone's talking about, the Amazon of real estate. We have arrived. That's what we're being called, you know? So what kind of growth? Well, it was 1,300 agents or 1,288 agents about 4 years ago. Today, it is over 36,000 agents. It is exciting what's happening. Now, we got to 36,000 agents without missing a beat, and we've hit $4 billion, and we're highly profit, what's called net profitability. Wall Street, you know, the different stock markets worldwide love us. Wait till we hit 100,000 in the next year and a half, 2, 3 years. When we have 100,000 agents, economy scales kick in even more. Profitability goes through the roof. And then the stock, well, it'll do what you might expect it to do. I'm not going to say what it's going to do, but I've just watched it grow from $2.90 a share to $8 a share. People are like, do you think it'll ever reach 20? Today, we're trading at $58 a share. And you go, do you think it'll ever reach? I think it's going to be pretty awesome, and I'm so excited to be a part of this company. Almost every other day I get a text from somebody saying, I just became a millionaire through the EXPI stock. Not unusual at all, but the company's been around for 10 years, not 10 weeks or 10 months. Now, it's brand new to South Africa, and again, being first to market is a big deal. Uber was first to market. They were uber successful. Travelocity and the online, your travel agents are gone. They've been replaced by online. You buy your airfare online, your hotels, your rental cars. Being first to market, Facebook, Google, Apple, this is a big deal. And now you get to be a part of this because it's in real estate. Now, here's our eXp South Africa model explained. So the bottom line is it's 800 Rand to join one time. It's a one-time fee, 800 Rand to become a part of our company. Then the monthly fees are 800 Rand every month, okay? It's not free to work here. We have expenses, but it's very reasonable, very affordable. Our split is a 75-25 split, just like every top-notch superstar company throughout South Africa. Again, the cap is 150,000 Rand, and very reasonable cap. And then once you cap, you go to a 100% split. So it's 75-25 to you cap at 150,000 Rand paid in, and then you go to 100%. So if you do that in 6 months, you're at 100% split for the last 6 months of the year, and it resets every year. We did it, James, we did it our first month, 6 weeks, and they were at 100% for the rest of the year. Some of you do it very quick. Some of you, it may take you 9 months to cap, but you'll enjoy 3 months at 100%. Everything you close, you keep it all. That's a pretty good deal. We do have a 4% international fee that applies. We take 0.5% of that and we give back to our community here in South Africa for development, for schools, technology for children, sports, and getting involved in the community. We call that our social responsibility, to not just enrich ourselves and do well and prosper and do well in business, but to care about the community we live in. And so that's a really cool thing that eXp does with that 4% international fee. Finally, we have partners, we have third-party participation. Just to name a few, how about ENS Africa? How about PKF Octagon? How about Deloitte, Aon, Standard Bank? I won't read the whole list, but we have all the right partners, and we are super excited about the promise of what the future holds. Really cool. By the way, here's our founder, Glenn Sanford. He's on the stock exchange the day eXp joined the NASDAQ with Cisco, Apple, Intel, PepsiCo, joined the big boards. This was the day. There's our board of directors. And here he is hitting the closing button, shutting down the world financial markets worldwide. It's an honor they give to companies that join the NASDAQ. We're one of the hottest stocks on the NASDAQ today. Very exciting. So as I wrap up today, it's our final slide. I just want to tell you this. eXp South Africa is making history. I mean, you get to be a part of this. It's a big deal. I am so glad that 4 years ago, I had the courage to go, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. I left Keller Williams, a well-known factor, and joined eXp because I wanted to own a piece of the company I worked at. Today, I've seen it change hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives of my friends and colleagues in a positive way I can't even tell you. It's just been so powerful. So really encourage you to join, to be a part, to join this movement, to be a part of a company that is agent-owned, agent-centric. Everyone says they're agent-centric, but how many of them or do the agents actually own a piece of the company they work through the stock? So what I want you to do is to go to expsouthafrica.co.za/join, and I want you to apply. You're just applying. It will not move you to eXp, but they'll give you an independent contractors agreement, and it starts the process. But apply and get approved to join, and then when you're ready to join, you could join. But get this part out of the way. It's a part of your due diligence. Also, I want you to do a beta test. I want you to take what you just saw. I want you to share it with your best friend in real estate, 1 or 2 or 3 of them. As a Keller Williams agent, I did 8 of them. I called it the Save Me beta test. I had 8 people watch what you just saw, version very close to that. And guess what? All of them sold franchises, quit full-time jobs as regional managers for RE/MAX, general managers for Berkshire Hathaway, sold multiple franchises, big star agents, every single one of them, 8 for 8, joined me at eXp because I asked them to look at the model, what you just saw, and say, what am I missing? Because who wouldn't want to own your own company? Who wouldn't want stock awards? Who wouldn't want a competitive cap at 100% split? Who wouldn't want all the wonderful benefits that eXp offers? The revenue sharing is crazy today. So take the time, share this with a few people, do what's called a beta test. Go, I want to know what you think. Would you look at the model? It's a new model for real estate. What do you think? And see what they say. I'm so glad I did it, and I would encourage you to do the same. Have a great day, everyone. I look forward to meeting you in one of our next South African meetings for eXp. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Brent. So as you would have seen, we have an executive team for eXp in South Africa, and that is headed up by the principal, what they call the managing broker of the company in South Africa, and that is Andrew Thompson. It's based in Durban, but of course that's irrelevant. And as you're going to see, the various administrative staff are actually based in different places in South Africa because they all work in the cloud. So Andrew is the principal of eXp. Now, what that means is if you join eXp and you do build a team, you bring agents in with you, either you already have a team and you come in as a team, or you just introduce the idea to other agents and they join your team, you are not their principal. You don't take legal responsibility. You don't have to provide training. You don't have to have a company. You don't have to have a trust account. You don't have to register for VAT. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Andrew Thompson is the principal of the company. But you can still build a team and earn revenue on the team's transactions. That's the beauty of this model, best of both worlds. And then you've got the other senior administrative staff there. We've got transaction specialists that you will work with on all of your deals, and then onboarding specialists who Robin is fantastic. She helps us when you join eXp. You'll deal a lot with Robin, who will get you up and running on all the systems. Okay, so 4 disruptive pillars. And these are the 4 pillars of benefit of eXp that Brent just explained. It's the combination of the 4 where the magic happens. You know, any one of these pillars is great and so on and okay, and there are companies in South Africa that kind of got one or more of these, or one of them, but it's the combination of them together that creates this powerhouse paradigm shifting business. So let's go through those one by one in a little bit of detail. So pillar number 1 is the whole platform that they provide for you as an estate agent. So as an eXp agent, you will automatically be on a 71-29 split. Now, why 71-29? That's a 75. Well, you actually split your commission until you cap. You pay 25% of your deals to eXp South Africa, but there is an additional 4%, that's the bottom point on that slide, that gets paid. It's called a transaction fee that gets paid to international. So it's essentially 71% you keep of your commission, 29% you pay over. Now, in every 12-month period, and your 12 months begins on the day that you join eXp, that's called your anniversary date. So every year on that date, your transaction count gets put back to 0, and now you've got to pay in 150,000 Rand. Now, if you're thinking on your feet, then you can work out, okay, I've got to pay in, before I cap, I've got to pay in 150,000 Rand. I'm paying in 25% of my commissions to eXp South Africa. So that means I've got to do 600,000 Rand gross commission income before I cap. And now what does capping mean? Well, when you've done 600,000 Rand gross commission, you would have paid in 25% of that, 150,000 Rand you would have paid into eXp South Africa. You have now capped when you've paid in 150. And from, let's say you do that in 6 months. For the next 6 months, you keep 96% of your commissions. Okay, you still pay the 4% to international. So you're on a 71-29 split until you cap. Then you're on a 96%, 4% split, which is probably better than where you are right now. Okay, when you become an eXp agent, you get given a whole bunch of systems that you will work your business with. So what does the 800 Rand include? Well, it's all of these systems. First of all, you get access to eXp World. So then you can create your avatar, you can go to the training, you can get the tech support, you can go, all the stuff you do in eXp World, all of the transactional support, all that stuff. So you get access to the world. You get an eXp South Africa email address, which then unlocks for you all of the systems. You get obviously eXp have a global website where people can search for properties. eXp South Africa have got a website where people can search for properties. And then you, as part of the listing platform that you get a one-page website that collates all of your listings that you can then use for your online marketing, etc. So you get a listing platform, much like you probably use at the moment, something like Fusion or Prop Data or something like that, where you load your listings, and from there the listings syndicate to Property 24 and Private Property, etc. Well, you get the same here. It's called REP, the Listing Management System. That REP is not just a listing management system; it is also a CRM system. So then it collates the leads that you're generating. You can load your database. It will remind you of birthdays and stuff. You can create drip campaigns. You can send bulk emails. All of the stuff that a CRM system, the stuff that I love and I'm always teaching on, they've got the CRM system as well. You get now this is all part of the 800 Rand a month. You get Property 24 syndication and private property syndication. Now, I know a lot of people who they own their own real estate business. Maybe they've got 5-10 agents who work for them, or they're just independent. They own their own thing. And they say to me, what? I pay 5,000 Rand a month on our private property syndication and our Property 24 syndication. Plus, you get Lightstone valuations and deed searches. You get Lightstone membership as well for this 800 Rand a month. So because of the economies of scale that a company like eXp brings, when they come into a country, they just negotiate unbelievably good deals for their agents. All the social media advertising links will come off your one-page website. You get access to eXp University, which is all the training in all of the eXp countries around the world, the markets. The top agents are doing training in all those markets. You can go into eXp World. You go to the Australia auditorium because there's something being done this evening at 6 o'clock on social media marketing. I want to go to that. You've got access to all the training in the world in eXp World. And then you get a workplace. I'm going to show you a slide of this just now. You get a workplace and work chat membership. So what is that? Workplace is a Facebook app for companies. It's like Facebook, but only for the people in that company. It is an incredible place to communicate with people. You can create groups. So you create a group for your local area. People join groups. You can join other groups. And a lot of referrals are getting exchanged, not only nationally, but internationally through Workplace. And you can connect with top agents. You can reach out to people. And you just basically direct message them and come straight to their phone. And in fact, my watch actually vibrates when I get a message on Work Chat. So you'll just download the apps onto your phone and you get access through your eXp email address. Okay, in addition to this slide, guys, please listen to this. My team within South Africa, which is growing beautifully, there's probably about 30 or 40 of us so far. I am committed to building relationships within my team of leaders and providing as much support and and culture as I can within my group. So one of the things that I do is this Wednesday morning webinar. We do this every single Wednesday morning so that if you join my group and you want to invite other agents to have a look, you don't have to explain it to them. You just invite them to come to this webinar. You send them the link. It's the same link every week. Send them the link, invite them to come on a Wednesday morning. And then in addition to this, every 2 weeks, I run a closed private Google Meet called Family Time. Now, that's for my team of leaders. Now, if you're on this webinar and you join eXp, you will then join my team of leaders and you will then form part of this group. And what we're doing is we're building relationships with each other. A whole bunch of the top agents from the Going Virtual program have joined eXp. It's really exciting. And we're going on an absolutely amazing journey together. So some of the first transactions have actually been closed already through eXp, and it's super exciting. Okay, so that's just a screenshot of the real estate platform. That's the listing management and CRM software that we get when we join eXp. This is that's a picture of the CR. No, that's the listing management thing and the eXp website. So that slide just talks about how the listing system works, and then you obviously get the CRM system as well, which does all the stuff, calendar and tasks. You can create wish lists for your buyers and then buyer alerts. When someone matches a certain listing that you load, you can just send out a bunch of buyer alerts, whichever buyers match that listing. Brochures and templates and online virtual home selling links and all that stuff on the CRM system. It's fantastic. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you a little video of how the avatar world works. Just remember, where are we in the presentation? I'm just telling you more about pillar number 1, which is the platform. So when you work as an estate agent for eXp, what do you get? Well, you get all this stuff as part of pillar number 1. This is the platform. Okay, so I needed to get my eXp email address working on my Mac, and I didn't know how to do it. So I went got on my little avatar, I walked into the world, I went to the tech department, and you take a ticket, and within a minute or so, you get ushered in. And now I'm sitting at a table with this guy, Landon Cox, and this is what it's like when you interact with people in the avatar world. So I'm going to just play this. I'll just play the first minute of it, and you'll get the idea. Okay, that dude there, Landon Cox, he's the guy that's busy helping me. He didn't have the answer for my question, so he's gone to speak to his tech support manager there, Melissa. And he is going to walk back over here to our table at some point and hopefully answer my question. Oh, here he comes.
Okay, I did a bit of digging around.
All right.
And it looks like the instructions we have that are for UK emails are the same for South African.
Okay, great.
So what I'll do is I'll give you the instructions for the setup in Outlook. And what email app are you using exactly?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the Mail app on Mac.
Gotcha. So they're not instructions for the Mail app, but they have the port settings that you're going to need.
Okay.
Boom. There we go. I just put it into the private volume.
All right, I got it.
And I would just go through the...
Okay, and that's what he sent me worked perfectly, and now my email address works both on my computer and on my phone. So it just gives you an idea of this crazy world in which they run their business. Okay, one last point on pillar number 1, and then we'll go on to pillar number 2, is that I know there's a couple of you on the webinar that may own your own business. You own a small boutique brand. When you join eXp, you've actually got one of 2 options. You can just trade as an eXp agent, and if you're coming from a big franchise, you can't bring that brand name over with you. So it makes sense to brand yourself as an eXp agent, because I believe this is going to be the dominant real estate brand in this country within the next few years. So why not benefit from not only the national brand, which is going to grow, but the international brand? Okay, but if you want to keep your little niche brand that you've been building with your colors and your logo and all of that, you can do that as an eXp agent. You may want to come across with a team of like 3 or 4 agents or 10 or 20 agents, but you want to keep your local brand. You can do it. how that works is you will move your FFCs from the company that you're with to eXp. You have to do a company change with the EAAB. And you can close down the legal entity of that company. So you no longer have to pay for the trust account and the audits and the CIPC submissions, and you don't have to be registered for VAT and all of that stuff. Now, the only exception to that is if you do managed rentals. You cannot do managed rentals through eXp. You would then need your own firm with its own FFC, and then you would do your managed rentals and that. But otherwise, you shut down the company. What you keep is just the public face, the brand. You are now actually working with eXp, but you're trading as the same brand, the same colors, the same logo, so you can keep your brand. What I love about eXp, they are so flexible. They are agent-centric. They are not trying to build their own kingdom. They see themselves as a platform to help you build your kingdom, however you want to do it. And so things like you can use whatever service providers you want. You use your own bond originators, you use your own attorneys, and if you get a bond com from your bond originator, eXp don't want that money. You keep that money for yourself. You own your own business within eXp. They don't tell you what commission you've got to charge. The only proviso on that is if you want to charge less than 4%, you need Andrew's permission. But that's just they're trying to protect the brand. They don't want people running around selling at like 2%. That's not this company. But you get to choose. You want to charge 7.5 plus VAT, or you want to charge plus VAT only once eXp are registered for VAT, which they're not yet, because obviously we haven't hit the threshold yet. You want to charge 6%, 5%, it's your choice. Okay, so next pillar. That's the workplace chat, the Facebook thing, which is awesome. I forgot about this. You get templates. Obviously, what happens about my boards and business cards and directional signage or whatever? Well, there are templates that you get given. You drag and drop your own photograph and your details in there, and then you order them from, at the moment, it's a company called 360. They're based in Joburg, and then they deliver to your door. Of course, these kinds of materials will be for your account. Why? When you join eXp, you own your own business. You're not going to get given stuff, okay? So eXp is an entrepreneurial opportunity. You're not going to have an office you can go into every morning. You know, if you're the kind of agent that has to go into an office and you kind of need people to hold your hand and you want to drink coffee with everyone and you need to be, then eXp is probably not for you. You've got to have a certain level of independence. You've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. But that's not to say there's not support. There's plenty of support, but it's cloud-based support. It's not office-based support, and you've got to be ready for that. Sorry, that was a digression. All these kinds of expenses are for your own account. You would need to pay for your own boards and signs and cards, etc. But all the templates are provided for you. And the same thing with your contracts. You can use your own contract. If there's a certain sale agreement that you love using, you can use that, no problem. But eXp South Africa do provide a whole list of contracts and listing presentation, whatever stuff, all the stuff that you guys would normally use, and you can use it if you want to. Okay. Pillar number 2 is training. So I said to you that their training is like the best in the world. And I say that from 2 perspectives. Number 1, there is no company on the planet that can provide as much training as eXp do. Why? Because they have an avatar world. There are training sessions being run in the various auditoriums and training rooms around this online campus, this avatar campus, all day, every day, from America to Australia to India to South Africa to the UK. They've all got auditoriums, and there is training happening in all of them. And what eXp do is they make a schedule of upcoming training events available at any point. There's a little website link. You click on it. And I will give all that stuff to you when you join, all those links and stuff. And you can look through the next like 2-3 weeks. Okay, I love the idea of that. Social media marketing. I love the idea of that, of how to use video. I like that. Negotiation skills. That looks good. How to do listing presentations. Okay, I love those 4. I'm going to do those over the next 2 weeks. Click. You can just add them directly to your calendar. And then at that time, you just go into the world. You go into the relevant auditorium, and there the training is done. The auditoriums look something like, so all of this is called eXp University, both live and pre-recorded training. And this is what the auditoriums look like. And at the end of the training session, you can walk up to the trainer and you can talk to him or her. You can ask questions. It's interactive. It's incredibly powerful. It's just mind-boggling. Then the second thing about the training is a lot of the training is done by the icon agents. Now, what is that? In order to be an icon agent in South Africa, so icon is a bit like the platinum club, the super duper double dipper diamond club. You know, every company's got these, like the elite club. You got to sell so much stuff to be a part of it. Now, eXp have got that's called the Icon Award. In order to be an icon agent in South Africa, you've got to do 5 million rand gross commission for the year within a 12-month period. 5 million gross commission. And it's the similar type of agent internationally. The goal is like commensurate. So these are very, very good agents. Now, when you become an icon agent in South Africa, or internationally, anywhere, what they do is they take the cap that you would have paid in a long time ago in that 12-month period, which in South Africa is your 150,000 rand that you would have paid in. They take that 150,000 rand that you would have paid in and they give it back to you in eXp stock. So they give you eXp 150,000 rands worth of eXp shares. But in order to qualify for, I think it's half of those, 75,000 rand of those shares, you've got to do a certain number of hours training in eXp World. It's a very clever system because it incentivizes the top agents in the world to train the other agents in the company. Very clever. So the training is phenomenal. That's the second pillar. Third pillar is the equity awards. So this is an agent-owned business. And the way the equity awards work, this is not all of them. Like, for example, that Icon Award, they haven't included that on the screen. But here are some examples. When you join eXp and you do your first transaction, and this incidentally kicks in South Africa only in a couple of months' time because we don't yet have, they're working on the technology to make this happen at the moment for all of their international markets. But this is the deal. When you do your first deal as an eXp agent, you get given 2,000 rands worth of eXp shares. Just congratulations, you've done your first deal with us. Here's 2,000 rands worth of shares. When you cap, and this now, the second one is an annual thing that you can get every year. So you pay in your 150,000 rand capped. They give you 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares, and you can do that every single year. Then, and this one is really exciting if you want to introduce this to other agents, when you sponsor an agent, so they get added to your first tier, or your front line as we call it, when they do their first deal, eXp give them their 2,000 rands worth of eXp shares, but they give you 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares. And if you've sponsored over the next 5 years, let's say you sponsor 25 people. Over 5 years, you're just telling agents as you go, 25 join. When each of them have done their first deal, you will then have 4 times 25, 100,000 rands worth of eXp shares. And who knows what the share price is going to be in 5 years' time. This is an incredible way for you to build up wealth, build up a shareholding over a period of time by doing what you're already doing anyway. Okay, then they have a program, which is, you'll see that at the bottom there, the Agent Equity Program, excuse me, whereby when you fill in the contract, there's a little block that you can tick. It says, yes, I'd like to participate, and I would recommend you do. And what they do is they hold back an additional 5% of your commissions, and they purchase eXp shares at a 10% trading discount for you. Now, those shares vest for 3 years. That means you can't sell them for 3 years, but who cares? So you're doing deals. You're not going to miss the extra 5%. Just let them keep it and buy the shares for you. And you are, again, that's just another way. You're building up a shareholding. It's incredibly exciting. Okay, that's the third pillar. It's agent owned. Now, here's the question. That whole system that you get for $800 a month, are those 3 pillars compelling to you? Do you look at that and you say, man, that's a pretty good deal? If that's the case, then Pillar number 4 becomes exciting, because then with a clear conscience, you can tell other agents about this incredible business. Now, how does the revenue share work? So you've got, you're the agent in orange, okay? Agent orange. Then we've got an agent in white there. That's your friend, Joe. Okay, you introduce Joe to eXp. How do you do that? Don't try to explain it over the phone. It will sound like a pyramid scheme, okay? Which it is not. It is a legitimate revenue sharing model, just like every other real estate company in the world. They take a percentage of their agents' commissions. The only thing with eXp is they take a percentage of everyone's commissions and then they pay it back to the agents that help build the company. So it's not a pyramid scheme. It is a legitimate model. But if you try to explain this to someone over the phone, I'm telling you now, you're going to make a mess of it and they're not going to be interested. The best thing to do is keep the conversation as short as possible and just say, look, please trust me for now. Come to a webinar with me on Wednesday morning with Steve Johnstone, and he's going to explain the model to us. And then you just send them the link that you clicked to get into today for next week, 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. Okay, so Joe comes along and he gets excited and he decides, I'm going to join. Now, you have got someone on your first tier or your front line. One person, Joe. Now, you may introduce a few other people. For each of those people that you introduce, you can earn up to 21,000 Rand per year of that person's cap. Of the 150 that they pay in, you earn a percentage of that 150. You get 21,000 Rand of it. Okay, what happens if Joe doesn't cap? If Joe only does 300,000 Rand gross commission, he pays in 25% of that, which is 75,000 Rand. Well, you would then get half of the 21. You get 10,500 for the year. So they don't have to cap. It's not all or nothing, which is great. And if you've got 10 people and they all cap, you'd get 210,000 Rand, 21,000 for each of them. But it doesn't stop there. If Joe then introduces Wendy, Wendy is on your tier 2. Now you get paid up to 24,000 Rand. You actually make more money on your second tier than you do on your first, which is great because they are incentivizing you to help the people that you enroll to enroll others. And if you've got, 10 people on your front line that you're getting 21,000 Rand each on them, and they each introduce 10, you can see how the multiplying effect works. You'd have 100 people on your second tier, and you could get up to 24,000 Rand on each of them. That's 2.4 million Rand just on your second tier. Now that goes down to the 7th tier. So on the 3rd tier, you earn 15,000 Rand per agent. On the 4th tier, 9, then 6, then 15, then 30. So your 7th tier is actually your most profitable tier. But here's the catch. Okay, you said, cheapers, where's the catch to all this? Here's the catch. On the left-hand column on that slide, you're going to see how many agents you have to have personally enrolled. So these are people on your front line or your tier 1, like Joe. How many Joes do you need to have to unlock the earnings on your various tiers? And that's the answer there. So to unlock your second tier, you need to have 5 people on your first tier or your front line. And these can't just be anyone. You can't just sponsor your granny and your grandpa and your dog. They have to be active agents, which means 2 deals a year. Okay, 5 active agents unlocks your second tier. 10 active agents on your first tier, personally enrolled, unlocks your third tier. 15, 4th, 25th, 25, 6th, and then 40 unlocks your 7th tier. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's the best explanation I can give you of the revenue sharing model. And as I said, to use the same example Brent Gove used, just on 2 levels. If you introduce 10 and they each introduce 10, over the next 5 years, you will then be earning 2.6 million Rand as a passive income as long as there are agents doing transactions within your network. And it's going to grow from there. It'll go down to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th tier. And it's not only going to stay in South Africa, your network will grow internationally. What you are responsible for is getting people personally enrolled. If you get enough people personally enrolled on your first tier, some of them will get excited and will go and they will introduce people who will introduce people who will introduce people. You don't have to worry about that. That'll happen. But it'll only happen if you put some effort into introducing this to other people. Now, please listen carefully to this. You may look at today's presentation and say to yourself, you know what? I'm not interested in the passive income here on the revenue sharing and introducing other agents. That's not my scene. That's fine. That's the beauty of why I'm saying to you, make your decision on the first three pillars, because you might say to yourself, you know what? I love the idea that I can get shares in the company that I'm working with, and I can be on a 71-29 split until I cap and then keep 96% of my commission. Or I love the fact that I'm only going to pay 800 Rand a month for all of the software, all of the syndications and everything. That's a great deal. I don't need to introduce other agents. I just love the platform. And that is a perfectly legitimate reason for joining eXp. Okay, so international, at the moment, these are the countries we're opening in. The US, obviously, then the UK, Canada, and Australia opened next. Then it was South Africa, Portugal, India, and Mexico and France. And now in this quarter, Hong Kong, Italy, Puerto Rico, Brazil are opening. That's happening this quarter. And then there are 5 more countries, they haven't told us which ones yet, in the second quarter of 2021. So you may know people who live in any of those countries who are estate agents who may want to become estate agents. Give them a call. You can even invite them to this webinar. Invite them on to next week. Say, listen, just have a look at this thing. And if they join in their country, or if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who joins in one of those countries in your 7 levels, you then earn your revenue share in euros or pounds or dollars or whatever. It is an international opportunity. There's no borders. That's actually the name of this piece of software that we're waiting on to get all of this functioning, the International Stock Awards and all of that. It's called Sponsors Without Borders, this piece of software. It's incredibly exciting, the opportunity. Okay, so what are your next steps? Let's close it all off. Number 1, if you're interested, get together with the person who invited you. And can I ask you, if you are interested, please don't make it difficult for me to get hold of you or the person who invited you here today to get hold of you. You know, we're not in the business of chasing people down or convincing people to get in. Honestly, I see my role as just giving you the information, introducing the opportunity to you. And if you think it's a good opportunity, then let's work together to make it happen, okay? So get together. Once you've gone through some of those resources in the email that you're going to get from me in about 5 minutes' time, then maybe in a couple of days' time, get together on a Google Meet or a Zoom call or something and have a list of questions. And let's start the conversation, okay? So get something in the diary for by the end of this week or maybe Monday next week. Book an appointment with the person who invited you. That's my first piece of advice. Number 2, do your homework. Go and watch the Gene Frederick video. Go and go through some of those other links that I've put in that email to you. Just do your homework. Now, just be prepared as well. If you go onto Google or YouTube and you go and Google it, you're going to get mixed reviews. Most of them are actually positive, but you're going to get the odd guy that says, oh, it's a scam, what's this, what's that. But I guarantee you, if you go and Google the dangers of ripe tomatoes, you know, I promise you now, there will be 100 websites and YouTube videos that tell you about the dangers of ripe tomatoes. And it's like, you can't trust everything you see on the internet. Okay, that's why I have hand-selected some high-quality, vetted resources that you can go through in the email. But by all means, go onto YouTube, go onto Google, go check it out. Do your homework. Number 3, invite someone to join you on this webinar next week. That's what Brent calls the Save Me beta test, which is like, man, I'm excited about something, and I think I'm going to go for it, but I really need your help because you may see something that I'm missing, and I really need you to save me if I'm going to make a bad decision. Would you please join me? It's like a really low-pressure way of inviting people you know to have a look. And he said he invited 8 people, so set yourself a goal. Why don't you bring 8 people next week? He did that with 8 people. Hey, just do me a favor. I need your opinion. Okay, people love giving their opinion. Come on this webinar with me next week. And he said all 8 of them joined him. By the way, I've been doing this for 2 months. Okay, and we said if you sponsor 10 and they sponsor 10, you make 2.6 million Rand a year. In 2 months, I've sponsored, it looks like 24 people. 24 in 2 months on my first tier, and obviously it's growing down in the other tiers. You don't have to take 5 years to develop this passive income. If you get focused on it, you can build it quicker than that. Invite someone next week, and then if you are keen to do further due diligence, this is one of the best ways you can do it. Start the join process. It doesn't mean you're joining, you're just applying. What happens when you fill in the form on that page, expsouthafrica.co.za, this will be in the email I send you, /join. You click it, you accept the terms and conditions, you fill in a little form with some of your info, submit. You then get an email from eXp. You actually get 2 emails. The second one has a link to the contract. That's the contract you're going to sign when you join eXp. My advice to you is get yourself to that point. Get access to the contract. You haven't joined yet. It's only when you sign the contract you've joined. But at least you can then read through the contract, and then you may have lots of questions that come out of that. In fact, I'd be surprised if they're not questions that come out of that. It's like a 40-page contract. And then the person who invited you today, when you get back together on Friday or Monday, then you'll have a lot more information to be able to discuss with one another if you've read the contract as well. So that is another good next step. Okay, great. 11:30 on the dot. Thank you, guys. God bless you. I look forward to having the conversation with those of you who are on as my guest. So, Melaine, does one need to be a full status agent? No, you can be an intern to join eXp, but just realize that you're going to need a mentor. And normally what eXp say is they don't want interns sponsoring interns. They want full status agents sponsoring interns. So at least your sponsor is the person who can then, sign off your deals or help you with your logbook or whatever it is your mentor does for you. But here's my only caution. If you're an intern, you've got to be a reasonably confident intern. Okay, you can't need someone holding your hand all the time because you're not going to get that here. You've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet to some degree. Obviously, Andrew is always available as your principal. You can phone him, you can WhatsApp him. He's always available. He's actually brilliant. The admin staff are always available. The transaction staff always available. So not like you don't have support, but if you are needing someone physically with you to kind of go drive in the car with you, and you're not going to get that here. Okay, so that's my answer to that question. And yeah, and then for those of you who've got teams, you've got maybe 5, 10 agents on a team with you, maybe more, eXp have got a special team structure that helps you transition bringing your team across, because you don't want to just lose. Let's say your agents are on a 60-40 split or a 70-30. You don't want to just lose that 30% like overnight down to 0, because now each of your agents are paying their 25% to eXp. So they've got a model whereby they transition you out of that over a 2-year period. It's a very good team structure, and I can explain to you how that works. Yes, so Jan, next week's presentation will be the same as today. It's the same every single week, and it's the same link every week that you can click to get on. And yes, this was recorded, so I will upload this as a replay, and I'll put it on my YouTube channel. And yeah, so I so look forward to the conversations that we have following this. I will try to call each of you today, but if I don't get to, if I invited you, if somebody else invited you, they'll call you. But please, if you're interested and you're really keen to have a discussion, send me a WhatsApp. Okay, then at least I know you're interested and it's a good conversation to have, and then we can get together, which I look forward to. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day.